I mean, just really proud of our guys. I mean, they're going against a highly experienced, very, very tough-minded team that is very motivated. And so, they put us in a big bind in the second half. I was really proud of the way our guys hung in, kept fighting, stayed the course, kept their emotions in check. And then a couple of plays at the end. I mean, the Siakam chase down block, the Nembhard shot. There's just a lot of things to be proud of. But it's only one game. And so we're going to have to circle the wagons very quickly and get ready for Sunday afternoon.
I guess I'll just start with Drew. And obviously, he just missed a couple of those, and he had a layup early that. But I mean, just how big of a shot of that is in that moment when the game's breaking down.
He's one of our toughest guys, mentally and physically, and he's really gained a love for these types of moments and playing in this kind of stage, this kind of level of competition. So, the fact that we kept going back and getting the ball and getting the ball and getting the ball was the thing. And the clock was down. And, sometimes in those situations, it frees you up even more. And he just laced it.
Rick, what went into the decision to play Neesmith on Brunson as opposed to Andrew?
Well, I mean, we saw in the Milwaukee series that, every game is different. Every game is going to have different things going on. We can't give New York just a recipe of the same thing over and over again. They're going to adjust. Brunson's too great a player. So, the idea was just change the matchup, get a little more size. And Aaron did as good a job, I think, as you can possibly do. It's just, Brunson's so good. I mean, he's the best scorer in the playoffs, I believe. And so, and we had good, timely help tonight too. So, so that helped. And, look, game 4 could look completely different.
Rick, many questions for you and Ty about Tyrese after game 1. To have the last 2 games be as excellent for him as they have been, what to you keyed his turnaround in this series?
He adapts quickly. For a first timer in the playoffs, he's had to do some pretty significant adjusting in both series. Sometimes it's, you can score, but there's a need to get other guys involved. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes he knows we need his scoring. So he got banged up tonight. The hope is he's going to be okay for Sunday. I think it's going to be hard to keep him out of the game. But his aggression was very important in this game. And look, whether he's scoring a lot of points or not, his aggression is going to be important in every game in this series.
Speaking about his other stuff, his passing, he has the kick-ahead pass there to Pascal with about a minute and a half left. Just the trust that he shows in Pascal in that moment to kick it ahead and give you guys that bucket. Yeah,
it was one of the things that we saw in him the first night he played here back in January of 22. He has a natural confidence in the guys that are on the floor with him, and the way he delivers the ball, brings confidence to the players he's playing with. So, Pascal, he's been here before. He's been in games like this. He didn't have his best game, but he made some huge plays that were extremely important. His job at the free throw line tonight was key. The chase down block. There were a lot of timely plays. So, we'll circle the wagons and get ready for Sunday.
Which they started big, but maybe played one big more than they played two. Did you have a message to your guys to attack the offensive glass, or do you think that they just saw the opportunities down the stretch there?
Each game's going to look different. I just, there could be some significant optical adjustments in the next game, at the very beginning. But at this time of the year, and as you get 4 games into a series, I mean, the number of surprises decreases, and it's about will and guts, and they played with a lot of will and a lot of guts tonight, but our guys did too.
Speaking about will and guts, what about Aaron's temperament allows him?
I don't even think that microphone's on.
Speaking to his will and guts, just his temperament, what allows him to, Aaron Nesmith, to handle tough defense times? He had Chris Middleton in that last series. He's got Brunson tonight, just to handle the fact that you got to be physical, and they might make some shots, but I got to keep bringing it all night long.
Okay, in the NBA playoffs, especially when you get to the conference semifinals and you're in the second round, each game you're going to have a job to do. And tonight the challenge for him at the beginning was to do his best on Jalen Brunson, and he did some good things, and we stayed with that for a significant portion of the game. Sunday we'll see what Sunday brings.
Miles, obviously another guy that didn't have a great game too. Game 3, obviously a lot more productive on offense. 10 rebounds. Seemed like I think he also had another chase down.
He had a very productive game because he rebounded the ball. He made timely shots. He made a really important pass late that led to a basket that I think gave us the lead at one point. We just got to be careful about getting all hung up on points. It's just not. There's so many defining plays in a playoff game that have nothing to do with scoring. I mean, there have already been more than a handful of loose ball plays, that have defined each of the 3 games. So, look, the last game, our starters had a rough one and our bench played great. Tonight it was the other way around. Whatever happens, you got to wipe it clean, and the next game is a completely new palette, and you've just got to get ready to compete when that time comes.
Drew, got to just start by asking you about the shot. I mean, what, obviously Tyrese is trapped there. Just what's going through your mind when you get the ball there where you were at, what you're trying to do there, and just how good did it feel coming off?
Yeah, when I got the ball, I didn't really realize what the time was. Ty said something. I looked up, and it was like 2 seconds on the clock, so I just knew I had to get something off. So I just tried to create a little bit of space and put it up.
What do you remember right after it went in, whether it's your teammates mobbing you, or was it hard to look at? Were you looking ahead and trying to ignore what just happened?
I was just in the moment, like it was just, I was just kind of shocked a little bit. I was just happy the ball went in, kind of focused on the next thing.
What has Ty meant to you and this team in the last 2 games, especially after all the questions about his play in game 1?
He's been big. He's been super aggressive, and it opens things up for everybody. But he's been doing this all year, so it's not surprising for us. And guys have good games and bad games, so we're not really too worried about him when he goes and has one bad game.
What you had a couple clean looks right before the shot that you knocked down. I mean, what are you? It seems like you've been able to deal with this pretty well. That you can, if you miss a shot, you can forget about it pretty quick. I mean, what have you learned about that this far earlier in your career, being able to put a miss behind you or put something that doesn't go well behind you and move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, basketball's a game of many mistakes, so it's about being neutral and not being high or low based off good or bad plays. So just trying to move on and understand the next play is the most important.
They were over 120 in both of the first 2 games, only 106 tonight. What's you changed defensively for you guys, and what helped you keep them, so low on the scoreboard?
What did we change defensively? I'm gonna keep that to myself. Yeah.
Drew, I know you've worked so much with Jenny. One of her main things is getting mentally tough, especially in shot making. After you struggled a little bit making shots today, how did you know what Jenny has taught you in that big moment with 17 seconds left to be able to make sure you got that shot down?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what I said before about just not worrying about the past and focusing on being in the moment. my shots felt really good this whole playoffs, and I think I've been shooting it well. So felt confident stepping into those shots, and sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't, you know.
Drew, it seems like that block by Miles kind of got you going, got your first basket. How big was that in just the momentum of the game the last couple minutes?
I honestly don't really remember it that well, but I knew the last 6 or 7 minutes was really tight. We needed every play, and the one where I kind of got that drive was like a transition kind of. They're trying to get us to the three, and I kind of found a gap. But yeah, big play for us on that defensive side of the ball. I think we rebounded well in the clutch, and I think we did a solid job getting the stops.
I guess, Drew, when did you figure out or find out that you were going to have a change in assignment defensively, that you were going to start on Brunson in this one? And how did you react to that at the time? And what was the difference, going from guarding Brunson to guarding, Hart and DiVincenzo?
Yeah, I found out last night. My reaction was, I think it was fine. I mean, I think sometimes with good players like that, you need to switch it up and get them a different feel, a different type of defender on them. I think I did a solid job the first 2 games and contesting and being right there. And he was making a lot of tough shots. I think Aaron did an amazing job tonight, speeding him up at times, not fouling him, and just doing his job and being super competitive on that side of the floor. I mean, he's a tough player. He's going to make shots. You got to move on when he does that.
If you can compare the feelings given the playoff setting here, but your 3 last year in LA, similar spot to the one tonight. I mean, how similar were the feelings after making a shot like that in those moments?
This one's a lot nicer, bigger game, more at stake. Both late game winning shots is fun,
Did you practice deep threes?
I do, but I can't say that was a product of just practicing deep threes. I was just in the moment type of thing, but I definitely try to space a little bit deeper on the line so you can kind of work a longer closeout for sure.
And did you fumble it a little bit? It looked like you didn't actually get it cleanly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Last one for JJ.
With about 10 minutes to play, you're down by 9. Starters came back in the game. Do you recall anything about the start of that stretch to get back into the game and how you were able to eventually chip away and really tie it up pretty quickly?
Can't say I remember much. It was a blur. I was just trying to play the game at the time. I think we made some good stops. We had good rotations. We rebounded well and going down the stretch. And Tyrese was making plays, opening up for a lot of guys. The middle screen with him and Pascal was where we were working. But also, I think we got into a little bit of just playing at the end of the game, and it kind of was even more random, and it opened up some gaps for guys to drive and make plays.
Ty, what's been key for you and, after all the questions we had to you after the first game, changing it in these last 2 and having more success on the floor?
Just getting downhill, being aggressive, being who I am.
Was that a team concept that changed anything for you, or is it just you in your own head having to change the way you were playing?
Both.
Let's just take us through the play with Drew, the 3-pointer. I mean, just obviously you got the ball up top, you get a blitz, clock's running down. Just what are you thinking through that whole sequence?
I saw me and Hardenstein one-on-one in top, so I just thought, get to my shot. But I heard Tibbs yelling to double, and I probably held the ball a little too long. I should have, been more aggressive to attack the blitz. But I put Drew in kind of a bad situation, and he just made an unbelievable shot, big shot. Was really just really stepped up to the moment when we needed him the most, and really good to see.
Just as a group, you guys were operating on a pretty high wire there for that entire fourth quarter. Tough, close the entire time. Just what's to say about this group, the way they were able to just battle it out? What did you like about what you guys were able to do in that stretch?
Man, just digging in, understanding our backs are against the wall. We're here at home. Obviously, they handled business again, both at home, and everybody knows what it looks like when you go down 3-0. So, we had to come out, play desperate, play hard, and the third quarter, it got us again. We've really been poor in these third quarters all series. So, we just didn't let that deter us and responded the right way in the fourth, which was big from everybody.
Tyrese, I see you limping along here. What is it? Your foot, your ankle, another body part?
It was my ankle. I rolled my ankle on that steel with layup in the fourth, and I landed on my tailbone there on that and one. So just overall body right now, I'm hurting, but I mean they got guys hurting too, So we gotta understand that everybody's hurting right now, So thank God we got a day in between, and I'm young, and I'll heal up and be ready to go on Sunday.
Well, what have you learned about the playoffs through this stretch, and about yourself through this period of time?
I would just say more than anything, it's about just getting to the next play, and that's, responding to something good or something bad, honestly. I think, down there in stretch, I turned the ball over. I had to get to the next play to get back and, try to slow down Josh so Miles could get that block. Just figuring out what you can do to, get to the next play, because every possession matters, and you're just trying to win one possession at a time. So I feel like it's just more heightened in the playoffs. You pay more attention to it, and there's already been certain plays in the playoffs that run in my head on repeat that I just consistently think about, where it doesn't really work like that in the regular season. You just kind of move on, but so that's a little different in the playoffs.
Before the game, Coach Carlisle talked a lot about the Knicks' toughness and how tough they are. It made me wonder if he challenged you guys a little bit more before this game than usual, just to match their toughness.
For sure. I think that's been the emphasis really all series for us. We've talked about that all series. How can we, match that energy? Because we're going to have to if we want a chance to win. And honestly, we really didn't do that in the first two games. I feel like we did in the first half for two games, and then the second half of both games we got outworked. And so we just had to figure out how we were going to respond. I thought Miles was great at setting the tone. I thought AA was amazing on Brunson. Obviously, he's a tough cover for anybody, but just, we're trying to give him as many different looks as we can, show him different bodies. I thought those guys set the tone for us to, defensively. And, still they got, 10 offensive rebounds. But we out-rebounded them tonight, and I doubt that's happened to them all playoffs, really. So, I think that's where it starts. But, just get into the next possession, get into the next play, because they got a lot of guys who just play really hard.
Seeing how Brunson has been playing in the playoffs, and especially early in this series, does that fire your competitive juices up, knowing that this is, your all-star versus all-star type situation? I
don't think it's as much about me versus him as much as it is our teams versus each other. It's not about that. It's just doing what you have to do to win. He's doing what he has to do for his team to win games, and I got to do that as well to give my team the best chance to win. So it's less about the one-on-one matchup and who's scoring or who's doing what. That's for y'all to talk about. We're just trying to win games.
Ty, you guys have been great at home throughout the playoffs. Can you kind of just speak to the atmosphere throughout these playoffs at home and what that's meant to you guys as a team?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable in here. It's been unbelievable. The energy. I think that our fans have just been itching for playoff basketball again, just like us, and so I think that's the excitement in our city, and that's why everybody's so excited. And obviously there's just a lot of energy around basketball in Indiana right now, especially with the Fever and us. So it's really cool to see the energy in the building, every game. And, they really willed us to a win tonight, to be honest. So we're just going to keep riding that train, and hopefully they keep coming supporting us, and, we just keep, performing the way we're able to.
You guys have talked a lot, as long as he's been here, about the toughness that Drew has, basically, and his ability to kind of move on from stuff. I guess just how much does what he did there speak to that? The fact that he had some open shots that he missed. He's obviously been bounced around on defense. There's, he's dealt with some tough assignments. Step up in that position and hit that shot. How much does that kind of add to what you already have to say about him?
Yeah, just digging in. I think as a group we understand that how deep we are as a team, it's going to be somebody else's night really every night, and just understand that it's not about who scores this many points, who does what. We just got a lot of unselfish dudes that are prepared for the moment whenever that is, and I think that was just that was the biggest thing. Is obviously he missed a couple shots, but he was ready when his time was called. I'm just excited for him because after the Bucks game, was that game 3? He was like, my main playoff moment is going to be offensive rebounds. So I'm glad that's this is probably his biggest moment now. So I'm excited for him.
Tyrese, what's different about your mental approach in the playoffs compared to the regular season?
I wouldn't say anything. I would say just like the amount of attention to detail with like film study You know, like in the regular season, it's a little different. I'm watching film after every game, but it's not as deep dive as it is right now. You know, seeing the defensive adjustments and all that stuff. Like every day, I'm watching film with Drew every day, watching film with IY and Rick and just everybody just diving in. Really just, you know, picking the game apart as much as I can to see where I can get better. Just the attention to detail, I think, is the biggest thing with the approach. And honestly, I got 26 shots, by most shots I've shot in a very long time, maybe ever. But I think, like, you just, you know, whatever's needed to win games. And that's kind of how I'm approaching these games right now, especially after a rough game one. Just, you know, how can I impact the game? And some games it's going to be scoring, some games it's going to be facilitating, some games it's going to be both. But whatever I got to do to win is what I want to do.
Ty, you mentioned Miles' block. How big of a moment was that just down the final stretch there led to Andrew's first bucket and then eventually his three? Did you feel like that was kind of a momentum shifter?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think there are certain plays that happen over the course of, you know, a series that and a course of a game that can really change things. I think that's what they do so well is those offensive rebound kickouts are really like momentum changing, you know, like especially when you're in the Garden, like an offensive rebound kickout three is like a windmill dunk. You know, when you play the Knicks, you know, so I think there's certain plays that can sway momentum, you know, and I think that, you know, big blocks like that, obviously, like, you know, transition threes or just moments that, you know, lead to timeouts or just things like that are definitely things that are going to stick out. And I think that we're going to remember that play because I feel like that changed the game. Was a you know, a game changing moment, and just I think it just speaks to, you know, how hard he played and the tone he set today.
I know it's playoffs, every game is big, but home crowd, Eastern Conference semifinals, getting this win finally against the Knicks. How big was this win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, huge. Like, listen, we know what it looks like when teams go down 3-0. So we really needed this win. You know, now we understand they're going to come out with, you know, a big punch on Sunday, and we got to be able to, you know, weather the storm and be ready to go. And I just think it's huge for us, but we understand we got to get another one. We got to take care of home floor as much as we can because, like they say, playoff series don't start till a road team wins. So, you know, we got to be ready to go on Sunday. Everybody's banged up, everybody's hurting, everybody's going to be amped for that game. So it's Mother's Day. All our moms are going to be there. Everybody going to be ready to go. I'm excited.
10 minutes ago, you guys are down by 9. There's a lot on the line. What were the keys down the final 10 minutes of the game to be able to pull this one out?
No, just stay with the game plan. Obviously, they made a run, and you know, they just trying to communicate to the guys to just keep the focus. You know, I thought there's a lot of big plays that the guys made, and just fighting, man. Being resilient, and we understand like how hard these games are and how tough that team is. So it's going to take a lot. And I thought, you know, we dug deep and just, you know, kept fighting.
Just what is your viewpoint on Andrew's shot?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Obviously, I think, you know, like Andrew does so many things for us as a team. He's just fights every possession, picking up full court. He's so valuable for us. And you know, obviously he wasn't making shots or anything like that, but you know, full trust in him. The work that he puts in, and you know, he's a confident kid. So like, I think for me, it's just, you know, like obviously it's a tough shot, but if someone's gonna make that, it's gonna be him. And you know, like I said, I just love everything about the way he plays the game and his focus.
What stood out to you about the way Tyrese has turned his game around after game one these last two?
Yeah, he's been awesome, man. Just I think, you know, like before when there's games where, you know, like he doesn't score a lot, and I think, you know, obviously it's like a lot of people talking about him, but the way he affects the game for us is just, you know, like it's more than scoring. You know, obviously we don't look at the scoreboard and he made a bunch of threes and he scored a lot, but he's just he's an engine for us and he gets us going. His pace, the way he sees the game, how smart he is as a player. I think like obviously we're gonna put a lot of pressure on the scoring part, but I just think that, you know, everything else that he does for us as a team, I mean, that's what makes us great.
Speaking of that, he throws that pass over the top to you late. Just what is it like to play with I guess like a leader, a player that like 145 left, you could dribble it up slow, and like, but no, he sees you, gets you the pass, and you're able to score.
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, like I said, all the reason I was excited being here. So like he sees the game. He's a great unselfish player, and like I said, he gets us going. And when he's playing at that pace and seeing the flow the way he does, like we are hard to beat.
What helped you get to your shot a little bit more today after you had a tough finish to game two? Just what do you think worked out?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think again, just taking what's there, and I know it feels like we've been together for a while, but I think the guy's still learning about me, and obviously the playoffs is like it's a lot, there's a lot going on. It's pretty hard to think out there, and and possession feels like everything just matters so much, and the guys are trying to do the right things, and I think for me it's just like the way the type of player that I am is just continue to find my way in the flow of the game, understanding that things are gonna come, and just knowing that again it's not just about scoring, like I can make plays, and just my energy, trying to find different ways, rebounding and staying active out there. I think like that overall, activity is probably going to help me a little bit more. So it's on me to continue to, find ways. And like I said, I think the way we are as a team, it's not really about scoring. I could care less how many points to score if we win. I think that's the mindset that everyone has.
What does a win like this do to your confidence level and the momentum in the series?
I mean, I think obviously being down 2-0, we win a game, so it feels good, but we're down 2-1, so I think, you turn the page and you just look ahead to game 4, and yeah, it's first to 4, so just continue to grind.
How do you feel like you guys played Brunson tonight compared to the first two games?
He's a tough cover. I mean, we know how talented he is as a player, things that he can do, 3 layups, floaters, he has it all. So it's a team effort, trying as hard as you can to make it tough on him, but he's such a tough player.
You've done the 2-0 comeback before against the Bucks a couple of years ago. What does it take to stack in between games to do that?
It's just like I said, I think it's turning the page, we can't be satisfied with the game tonight. I mean, and I think just seeing the games as they are, can't get ahead of yourself. And I know that sometimes it feels tough when you go down and you lose 2 games in a row and things like that, but can't look at that. Shout out to them. They played well in New York, and their physicality and the level that they played with was tough, and I think we responded a little bit, and we got to continue to do that, and we know how much it's going to take for us to win those games. So that just should be our focus, just one game at a time, and can't get ahead of ourselves.
You mentioned the difficulty of defending Brunson. Aaron was the one that took the main part of that responsibility tonight. Against the Bucks, he had Middleton. It's kind of a thankless job to have the other team's best player, but it feels like Aaron is up for it every possession.
He's one of those another one of those tough guys that we have on the team. He does it all, and he's not scared of the matchups. And we put all our trust in him, and he's gonna fight his butt off. Every possession. And I think those guys are sometimes if a player like Brunson's gonna make shots, it's hard. So I think you just do your best, and I think he did great tonight. And obviously we're gonna need a lot from him for sure.